It's no secret that AI is becoming prevalent in almost every field, especially with high school and college students. At this point in time, I hardly know anyone in my classes who isn't using AI, including myself. But that doesn't necessarily make me a hypocrite here. What I think is that AI is a tool to be harnessed but not relied on or abused. Now you might be asking yourself, well, where is that line drawn, right? That's a pretty vague statement. How do you know when you're abusing it? Well, let's say you lose AI tomorrow. How screwed are you? Just be honest. Think about it. How skilled do you want to be without AI there? Now, what does the research say about the effects of AI on your brain, right? Maybe we can consider that to see when it starts becoming abuse and when it starts having negative effects on you. And you'll find that it's actually less than you think. The major studies show that using large language models like ChatGPT to even write for you is extremely detrimental. Think about how many times you've asked Chat to write an essay or a homework assignment for you. Over time, you're likely to underperform when not using AI, and this is suggested by the research. You become reliant on AI and you fail without it. But I'm sure you know this. I'm sure most people know that using AI for an assignment means that you're not really going to learn anything from that assignment. I think we're mostly aware of that trade off. And some of us are okay with that. We don't mind not learning because we see the assignment as busy work or unnecessary to our future goals. And if we think it doesn't matter and we use AI to simply bypass it, then that's a win in our eyes. We skipped over work that does not matter and we made more time for things that do matter to us. Now, what's the issue? Well, what if this is detrimental to your life in general and not just for that specific topic? What if this leads to less mindful thinking in general, even outside of this topic you wanted to skip? That is what I wanted to find out with today's video. And as you'll see, the cutoff for having detrimental effects is once again not that much. Now, even using AI for mundane tasks like scheduling or basic research can lead to what is known as cognitive offloading, which effectively lets AI do the thinking for you while you avoid it. The more you use AI, the less independent your thinking will be. And this is especially harmful to the younger generation. The earlier you start, the worse this effect will be on your life. And you may have noticed this effect. With increased AI usage, you actually become less creative. If you're stuck on a math problem, for example, AI can just give you a hint or even solve the problem for you. It just bypasses the learning struggle of solving the question. But then what's stopping you from using AI to answer other questions that have you mind boggled? Why bother pondering any question anymore when you can just ask ChatGPT to answer it for you? It's so much easier to just ask Chat, hey, why is this the case, instead of sitting with the question to think about it. You may notice that you cannot come up with unique ideas anymore either, and AI has to come up with them for you instead. If this is the case for you, I would say you're overusing AI. This is worrisome in my opinion, because it is known that not using a certain cognitive skill, such as critical thinking, over a long period of time can make that skill diminish. So your critical thinking wouldn't even stay the same if you're abusing AI. It would actually get worse, and that isn't good. Another thing that I personally have noticed before, but accidentally attributed to something else, is that AI tires you out. Now, what does that mean? Well, when you are working on figuring something out with AI, it usually gives you way too much information to digest. Usually way more than you need. And having to constantly filter this information, find what's necessary, and read through tons of jargon and technical details is tiring. But when I experienced this tiredness, I somehow assumed it was because I was studying really hard and that's why I was getting tired. But research shows that that's not the case. It's actually mental fatigue from having to sift through the enormous amount of information that AI gives to you when you're answering a question. So yes, it is good that AI can give you a lot of information really quickly, but just know that it tires your brain out much faster. Now, given all this, it's important to clarify that AI is not all bad. While it can be abused very easily to think for you, it can also be used to your advantage. I found that for certain subjects, it helps to have AI point you in the right direction for learning. For example, if I want to know a specific fact, I can find the answer quickly using AI. I find that if you use AI to guide you to the correct literature, it can expedite learning. Of course, you may miss random facts that you would have learned on the journey to find this correct literature, But the time made up can be used to learn other things. I found that it also helps to not always trust AI. Question the AI, ask it why it chose one reasoning over another, and don't let it be the ultimate truth for you, because it really isn't. We know it hallucinates. On top of using AI to direct you and challenging its claims, it also helps to try things on your own first. AI should theoretically be a last resort, right? If you can't get the answer to something, that's okay. Struggling helps you remember better in the future. Struggling is actually part of learning. You're not meant to have the answer to everything all the time because that would mean you never truly problem solved. AI should be a last resort if all other methods of solving fail. And even then, you should explain your own thought process to AI and ask it to guide you from there, but without just dropping the answer and the full walkthrough on how to do it. That way, you maintain most of your independent thought and simply just get unstuck when you need to. And lastly, I would recommend not to use AI to give you your values, morals, or beliefs. These are things we simply do not know if AI is even qualified to give. Unless you want to take after someone else's values and explicitly tell AI to copy that person's values, it is not advised to ask AI for moral help. AI, to my knowledge, has not yet reached a point where it can safely provide the best moral guidelines, especially when morality is subjective for many people. Now, I believe that everyone can learn to use AI effectively and mindfully without compromising the cognitive skills that make them human. And as always, stay mindful, and I'll see you all in the next episode.